The City of Waterloo, in cooperation with its many active and inspiring entities, presents Heart for the City, a chance to hear and see what's going on in our city and to meet people who serve you, teach you, entertain you, help you, all neighbors and like you. Make this a city on the move. And now, here's our host.
Hello everyone, and thank you for joining us on Heart for the City. I'm Abraham L. Funchess Jr., Executive Director of Waterloo Commission on Human Rights, and your host for this episode. It is an honor for me to be filling in for Mayor Hart, who will be returning on the next show. This winter, the weather has been the big story, reaching temperatures as low as minus 31 degrees and then in 2 days reaching up to 47 degrees. We have had several days of high winds and bone-chilling cold, and how about the snow? Our normal 26.4 inches of snow is already at 54.1 inches. Well, we have all experienced this, and we've learned to venture out into the cold, windy, and snowy outdoors as little as possible. I want to express appreciation for the many city workers who have had to brave the cold as part of their jobs. Our bus drivers, our snowplow operators, water department employees, firefighters, EMTs and police officers, and many others throughout city and state government, and the private sectors as well, like tow truck drivers, utility workers, and postal workers, among others. To those who are required to brave the severe weather conditions on our behalf, our thanks and our gratitude. Our mayor is deeply devoted to the welfare, education, and development of youth. Recently, he has created an initiative designed to empower young people to think critically, debate civilly, and forge consensus on issues facing this city. What is this all about? Well, stay tuned. More to come.
Getting healthy has never been easier with a membership at Cedar Valley Sportsplex. Offering 80 free classes a week at all skill levels, there's always new and fun opportunities to grow. You never have to miss out on your favorites with our state-of-the-art facilities, featuring great exercise equipment, a track and field, pool, and 2 regulation gyms. So whether your game is football or pickleball, let the Cedar Valley Sportsplex turn your routine into something amazing.
Welcome back. Leaders in the City of Waterloo hope to introduce youth to civic leadership. Along with student advisors at the city's schools, students are encouraged to apply for a position on what is called the Waterloo Youth City Council. To tell us all about this is Carol Luce, Inter-School Coordinator and organizer of the Waterloo Youth City Council, and Glen P. Keith, Lieutenant Colonel, retired, U.S. Army, East High School Army Junior ROTC. Welcome to Heart for the City.
Great. Thank you. Thanks for having us.
Yeah. Yes, it's good to be here today with you. And obviously, this is an exciting initiative. And I guess the first question we have for you is, what is the purpose of the Waterloo Youth City Council?
Well, we feel the purpose is the opportunity for our local youth to have a voice, to be able to make changes, to be able to have a positive impact in their community, and to be seen as valued citizens of the Waterloo area.
That's beautiful. How did all this get started, by the way?
Well, back in March, the spring semester of 2018, Jim Day had met with Mayor Hart. Mayor Hart wanted to establish a youth city council, a voice for the youth here in the city. And the great thing about this is that we're the 5th youth city council within the state of Iowa. And so we, amongst the high schools, we had different faculty identified to put together. They started planning this. And then in the fall semester of 2018, we actually started, we had an application process, and we selected our first youth city council.
Wow. Now, who makes up the youth council? I mean, what schools are involved?
Well, all of the schools within Waterloo, high schools, that is. So we have Expo. There are 3 students that sit on from Expo, plus an adult advisor. East High School has 8, plus our guest here. Columbus has 4. I oversee the Columbus students. And then West has 10 students there, and an adult there too. Now, something that our community needs to be made aware of, all this information was put in the newspaper, so any youth that attended a school or even homeschool students had the opportunity to apply. And it wasn't just public students, it was public and private. And so everybody, all those students, high school students, 10th, 11th, and 12th graders, had the opportunity to apply.
Okay, so the students did actually apply to be a part of the Youth City Council.
Yes,
do
they did.
have to take an oath of office? Do they swear an oath?
Well, yes, actually on January 7th at the Waterloo City Council meeting, Mayor Hart administered the oath of office to and installed the new Youth City Council. And the great thing about because each of the schools, we had different committees of representative administrators, even parents and teachers, and we reviewed the applications. And I can tell you from the East High School, incredible, great, wonderful students applied. I mean, we had 8 positions to fill, but I out of like the 20 plus applications, all the students would have been very successful.
That was pretty good participation.
Right. Yeah. So these students represents our schools well. Very diverse set of students.
Very diverse.
So it's really great to have such a good voice, and as a teacher, seeing the quality of students across the student body is really great.
Yeah. So you've got 4 schools then.
That's right.
Represented in the city of
Right,
Waterloo.
and something we need to let your guests know why there's a difference in the numbers. We went on the size of the school.
Okay.
So that's how the numbers were chosen, on how many representatives from each of those schools.
Okay. And how many students total do we have comprised?
25 students
25.
plus 5 adults that somewhat oversee the trainings and the agendas and kind of the fine tuning of everything for the students.
Is there a liaison from the City Council to the Youth City Council?
Well, there will be once we get everything established, but we've had a couple of meetings, and at those meetings we've had representatives of the City Council come to show their support and just kind of see what's going on. I think they're curious.
I'm sure they are, because
Yeah.
I am too. I'm curious to know, for instance, do the youth have power? I mean, when they decide to do something, do they have the power to make policy that the larger Youth City Council, or the larger council has to pay attention to?
Well, they will eventually. And again, to let your viewers know that this is a very new establishment, a new program that's going on. And so one of the first things that they are working on is their own bylaws. And so once, and Robert's rules. So, a little bit of training needs to take place first before
exciting.
some of that action can actually happen. But I guarantee once they get into that position, you will see action taken.
I am sure. I mean, to be introduced to Robert Rules of Order early, I think is always very, very positive. How are these activities going to help the youth in their education and social development?
Well, I think the leadership development is just incredible. I mean, these students, they're very eager, and just given kind of the left and right limits, and here's a goal, and they're ready to go after it. So the leadership development to communicate amongst each other, crossing not only different schools, different grades, and also having the outreach to the youth in general here in the community, and being able to take that voice and to write it into policy, and to write it into something that they can present before the city council, before the mayor, to implement in action as they go through this process, because they're very eager about starting some things. And I was like, well, first of all, we got to understand who your officers are going to be, what kind of committees you're going to form, how long is your tenure, and when they start thinking about those things, I was like, yeah, and you, this is going to be that leadership development for you to build this, and when you're the starting foundation of something, it's very special being that founding group. But I said it also takes a lot of work.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
But your legacy will carry on for many years, so it's pretty exciting to see, and they're eager to go after it, and we've got a good representative of faculty, whether it's from the administrative side and leadership, with my Army experience and leadership experience, and we got Jonathan Greider, who's a government teacher at West. So we have some in-house knowledge amongst the faculty. And the students have already been introduced to the structure of the city in that first meeting, and a lot of team building exercises so they can start knowing each other.
So they did get an orientation of city government to some
Yes,
extent.
they did.
Okay.
Yes, they did. They got
Right.
that the very first one. And something really exciting, when they first came, very first meeting, we gave all of the students a little pin. And on that pin, they had to put where they lived in the community. And it was a map of the city of Waterloo. What they didn't know, that there was an outline of each ward. And by the time that they placed their dot, we knew exactly what wards they represented. And it was really exciting because we cover all the wards, and we also have an at-large.
Wow,
So
that's great.
here we go.
And we only have a few seconds left, but let me ask you this last question. What is the criteria that the students have to meet before they qualify to be a part of the Youth City Council?
10th, 11th, and 12th grade students can apply, and they have to fill out the application, then be interviewed, and then from there, then attend the meetings.
Do they have to be A+, A- students?
No.
Absolutely not.
No, I mean,
Absolutely
we
not.
looked at holistically the student as far as their participation in the community, letters of recommendation from not only members within the school but also outside the school. Very representative, I think, of the population.
Wow, that's beautiful. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, it was a pleasure. It was a pleasure to do this interview with you. Well, we want to thank Carol and Glenn for taking the time to explain this meaningful venture that teaches and exposes students to the leadership potential that is available to them. Our best wishes as this program moves forward. It is certainly significant and very important. The last U.S. Census estimated that nearly 74 million Americans are under the age of 18, making up nearly 25% of the population. Too often, the voices of our young people are ignored. Our nation faces some very pivotal issues, and our national, state, and local leaders are hopefully seeking solutions for our many socio-political problems. It is therefore imperative that we ensure that those who are our brightest future have an opportunity to participate locally. Surely, the Waterloo Youth City Council represents that opportunity. Moving on, the metamorphosis and transformation of our downtown in past years is phenomenal, but it is not finished. More on what is to come. Stay tuned.
There's a place that lies directly between where you've been and where you're going. It's the place in the middle, the place where your past and future connect. Hawkeye Community College is that place, connecting you to great faculty, engaged students, and four-year destinations like the University of Northern Iowa. Every masterpiece starts with a blank canvas, and every success story begins with an empty page. Start writing your story today. Hawkeye Community College. Connect.
Welcome back to Heart for the City. With so much going on in the downtown district, a major streetscape program is being delayed. This delay has been requested by our newly appointed city engineer, Jamie Knutson, who is here to tell us more. Welcome, Jamie.
Thank you. Nice to be here.
Yeah, it's good to have you here. Obviously, you've been in your position now for about 10 months. Maybe you can tell us a little bit about your background and history with the city.
I started here in 1994, so I've been here a long time, which is good and bad. But I've enjoyed the 24 years, going on 25 years now. So I grew up South Iowa City and a farm kid, big city kid, I guess. So
yeah, that's
been enjoyable.
Pretty impressive. A quarter of a century.
Yes.
That's a long time to be with the city.
It is. It is.
Well, right now you're working on a $2.2 million plan to beautify downtown. And it seems that you should be able to tell us a little bit about what this beautification process is made up of. What's happening?
Well, basically what's going to be going on is everything from River Road to 3rd Street on both Jefferson and Commercial is going to have new trees, new sidewalks, new trails, new lights, new colored concrete, new bricks at the corners, new markers, things like that. So it's a way to enhance downtown and provide a nice walking path between the Tech Works, the Marriott at the Tech Works, through to the downtown to past Hawkeye and over to the Sportsplex.
Okay. And how is it funded, actually?
Basically, the entire project is being funded through Blackhawk County Gaming. They have appropriated all of the money to do the design, the construction, and the inspection, and this is going to be a 3-year project for us to complete.
Right. Okay. But you are asking for a delay until 2021. Why? What's up?
I am asking for a delay, and it's not necessarily a delay. What it is, as we all know, Highway 63 has been under reconstruction the last few years, and the DOT has been putting in those enhancements along there, the bricks, the trees, the lights, those sorts of things. So the WDC, the Waterloo Development Corporation, wanted to enhance the rest of the area around there. Well, when I got into this position last year, they were looking at doing this whole project all at once. Well, anybody that's been downtown knows that Jefferson Street between 1st and 3rd is in need of help. The same thing with Commercial Street between 1st and 3rd are both in need of help. So one of the things that I asked the WDC to do was to do everything west of Highway 63 the summer of 2019, this summer. And then the city will reconstruct Jefferson Street between 1st and 3rd in 2020. And along with that reconstruction, we will go ahead and do the streetscape enhancements like they have planned. And then in 2021, we will do Commercial Street between 1st and 3rd as well.
Doing things in stages.
We're doing things in stages. It didn't make a lot of sense at the time to do all of this nice, beautiful enhancements, plant all these trees and do all these things, and then I come in a couple years later and tear them all back out.
Right.
So that just didn't seem like a very smart thing to do. So that's where we've worked with the WDC to stretch this out over 3 years so that we can, when we're all done in 3 years, the downtown, again, is going to look a lot different than what it does today.
And it sounds like it's going to be really beautiful. Obviously, it sounds more pedestrian friendly, so more people will be walking, that kind of thing. But how does that, in turn, then improve safety?
Well, as part of this, we are going to be including new lighting. We're going to be not just overall street lighting, but enhancement lighting along the trails and things like that. So the idea is to make it a much more friendly, a more open, a more inviting corridor for folks to be able to walk from the Marriott at the Tech Works or the John Deere Museum, to be able to walk downtown, to go to the Sportsplex, or to go to Hawkeye, or to any of the businesses downtown. So that's the idea behind it, is to make it all just more user-friendly, more open and inviting.
Is there going to be any additional parking for those who already use the amenities downtown?
There will be. As part of the construction this summer in 2019, we are going to be reconstructing 2nd Street between Jefferson and Commercial Street. As part of that, we're going to add parking on both sides of that block in there. So we'll be adding more parking in there. It'll be metered, unfortunately, but we will be adding more parking in there to help with the downtown area.
Will we one day see 2nd and 3rd level parking downtown in that area?
That's a good question. That's one of the things that has been talked about, that across from the Sportsplex, to put in a ramp there that would connect. Then we'd be able to connect the Sportsplex, Hawkeye, the Young Arena, all of those things, Center for the Arts, all of them could be connected and have a good place for parking and just, I think, make the downtown a much better place. The issue is, as always, funding for that. That's not a cheap thing to do.
All right. Noel Anderson has always been known to say something that's profound one way or the other. And apparently it's been attributed to him that he said streetscaping will create that symbolic relationship through the corridor. Jamie, what does that mean?
Well, to me, and I probably have a little different idea than what Noel maybe does, but to me it means we're trying to make everything throughout the entire downtown feel as one. Because having come here in '94, like I said, the downtown it seemed to be disjointed.
Okay.
And now with this, with what we're doing over the next 3 years, with what the DOT has done with Highway 63 and the other efforts that the mayor and the council have been doing to improve the downtown, we're going to make it look like it was all one. It was all intended to be that way and not a hodgepodge of things.
Oh, and I misquoted him, actually. Not symbolic relationship, but a symbiotic relationship.
And it's pretty similar to the same thing. I mean, it's really trying to make everything look and feel as one, that whether you're walking from wherever you're walking from or wherever you're walking to, that it's going to be that same wonderful feeling that you're going to have.
That's
So,
good. That's good. And obviously, we've seen a lot of work on Highway 63 and the Highway 63 redevelopment in downtown related to the beautification and enhancement projects in what way?
Well, as part of what the DOT was doing, they were including some streetscape as part of their projects, and what we're doing is mimicking some of what they're doing. We're enhancing it and adding to it along the city streets rather than just the highway portion. And again, it's going to be a lot different look than what folks were used to the downtown.
Well, I think we're ready for an exciting change, and I know you're going to bring it. One last question for you, by the way, Jamie. We had record snowfall this year, and that snow is going to melt. Now, you have a lot of experience with flooding. What are we going to do with all this water when the snow melts?
If everybody could pray for a nice, gentle, slow spring melt, that would be wonderful. You know, I've had one update with the Corps on the flooding for the spring. We'll have another one here in another week. Again, we know what it looks like. We know how bad 2008 was. 2016 was number 2 as far as record floods. So we've been through it. We don't want to see it again, but you know, we'll just have to see what the good Lord decides to do as far as the spring melt. So.
I hear that. And with that, that'll be the last word. But anyway, Jamie, we certainly want to thank you for taking the time to be with us and helping us understand more about the many aesthetic and practical changes yet to come into our own downtown. I encourage everyone to visit downtown as there is so much going on, especially as we enter into the spring and summer seasons. Keep in mind, however, there are many warm and comfortable places to visit every day in our city. We Iowans are a hardy bunch, so don't let the weather keep you home. We in the Cedar Valley Metroplex have lived through harsh winters before, but we find our patience being tested by the extreme pileup of snow this winter. Waterloo has over 400 miles of roads. Stretching them out would be like plowing snow from Rock Island, Illinois to Omaha, Nebraska. And while many of us are clearing our private sidewalks and driveways, the city is faced with the Herculean task of clearing public streets, removing snow from city parking areas, city parks, and public walkways and trails. How is this accomplished? Well, some insight on this when we return.
Traveling to Waterloo is easy. Waterloo Regional Airport, served by American Airlines, offers daily service to Chicago O'Hare with connections to over 700 destinations worldwide. At Waterloo Regional Airport, you'll find friendly ticket agents and helpful personnel so you can fly through security. And with close-in vehicle parking at only $5 per day, Waterloo should be your airport of choice. Waterloo Regional Airport and American Airlines, your partners in air service from the Cedar Valley.
Okay, there are people who love snowmobiling, cross-country skiing, snowshoeing, and sledding. But slippery and snow-covered roads continue to hamper the efforts of beleaguered city and state snowplow drivers working round the clock trying to get the latest snowfall cleared. How is the city dealing with this? Here to answer that question for us is Tony Pauley from the Street Department. Welcome, Tony, to the heart of the city.
Thank you.
All right. I'm glad that you're with us today because obviously there's been tremendous snowfall as of late, and I'm sure you're having a ball playing around in the snow. You said 400 to 900 miles of snow?
We plowed 926 lane miles in the city limits.
Wow, that's pretty incredible.
Keeps
I didn't
us-
even know we had that much mileage of roading.
Well, a lot of people don't, but it's good. Keeps
It
us
is.
busy.
So what is the responsibility of the Waterloo Street Department anyway?
Our main responsibility is to keep our roads safe for the emergency responders, the public, and the general commerce.
Okay. Have you always lived in the city of Waterloo? Is this your home?
This is my hometown. I grew up here. I left for quite a few years for the military, and I moved back in 2008.
Oh, okay. What is required when a snow emergency is actually declared?
When a snow emergency is declared, the people that live on the snow emergency routes are to have their cars off the street during that time so we can remove the snow.
Do you need more compliance with that? Do a lot of people still leave their cars in the middle
We
of the
do
street?
need more compliance with that. It's a struggle every time, and even people that don't live on emergency routes, it's good to have your vehicles off so we can remove the snow properly. It gets to be a struggle.
Yeah, I can only imagine.
Yeah.
Well, let me see. How are the snow plowing routes actually determined?
Our priority streets would be your main streets like Martin Luther King Drive, Conger, Broadway, Kimball, Amesboro, Ridgeway, your main roads and your 4 lanes.
Especially the ones going to the hospitals? And
Correct,
that
around
kind
the
of thing?
hospitals, schools.
Okay. What are the criteria then for the snow removal in residential areas? You always do the mayor's house first?
No, we do not.
Okay. I thought it was a written
Not
rule.
even mine and on the
Oh,
supervisor. I even get plowed in. So
Okay.
maybe sometimes there's a reason for that. For our priority streets, we start plowing at 2 inches. And when we go into our residential streets, it's 3 inches or more when we start plowing them.
Okay. And how is snow removed in the downtown area, by the way? I mean, why doesn't the city blow the snow into the city river from a bridge or something like that?
For one thing, it's against the law, actually, because of the debris that's in it and the salt. We don't want to contaminate the river and the waterways.
Oh, okay. Was there ever a time that the city did dump snow into the river?
I can't tell you that. We have
Okay.
not since I've been the supervisor.
Okay. All right. And besides the street department, by the way, what other departments assist in snow removal?
Sign and traffic help us, the sewer department, the mechanics. Once in a while, waste management, anybody that we can get to help us, leisure services, they help haul downtown at night with us.
Okay. Where can people park then when you are actually doing your job? Can they park in the ramps? Can they park in
Yes.
other places at no cost?
Right. They're allowed to park in the ramps at no cost, and then underneath the overpass of 218 overpass downtown there, they can park there, which is a nice place to park actually because it's covered, so
Right.
you
Right.
don't get the snow and stuff on your car.
Right, right. And I think that there have been allowances for people to park downtown when there's still a lot of snow in the city. Is that right?
Yes, when when we're cleaning up downtown,
Right.
It's good to have them in the parking ramps, and that way we can remove all the snow. But as we're pulling everything off around the meters, off the sidewalks, out into the street, and then we windrow it, and we use our snow blower, and we put it in trucks and haul it away to our snow dump.
Okay. What can a citizen or business do if they're encountering problems during a winter event? Is that something that you assist them with?
As in, like, removing their snow? Or?
Yeah. Maybe they have a big event or something and they need some support.
Well, we do around the center, and stuff, our public areas. As far as private citizens, there's really not a whole lot we can do for their removal of snow. It's just,
They just have to.
if we'd go into their
fight through it.
driveway or something and crack a driveway, the city'd be responsible to replace that, and we just can't do that.
Oh, I see. Okay. Well, what happens if we run out of salt and sand? First of all, has that ever happened?
Yes.
Okay, so what happens? How do you recover?
We never run out of sand, I can tell you that.
You always have enough sand,
We
but
can
you do
always-
run out of salt.
Salt, yes. Yes, we're right at the end of it right now.
Okay.
So this is, we called out to the mines, I did, and they're just not selling anymore. Past what we contract, there's a shortage all over.
Right.
It's not just Waterloo, but it's other communities as well in the DOT where we do have a shortage of salt this year, and what we have on hand now is what we have left for the rest of the year, so we have to use it sparingly.
Wow. So is sand a reliable substitute for salt then? Do they?
Well, sand gives you traction. It won't melt snow and ice, but it'll give you traction to get around in it.
Okay.
You
All
know,
right.
we do mix sand with salt, a salt sand mixture to give them that traction plus help melt.
The brine solution?
Correct. We brine before a snow event, get out, pre-treat the streets. It's a water salt solution basically, and we brine the priority streets.
Okay. Okay. And are you looking forward to a time when street sweeping is the major priority?
Well, that'd be nice, but there's never just one major priority with the street department. Start street sweeping, we're filling potholes, pouring concrete, asphalt, grading alleys.
And there are a
It's an
lot of
ongoing
potholes
thing.
right now. I know that has nothing to do with anything that you're doing. I mean, the temperatures have just been such that.
Well, with the freeze, the thaw, that's what creates your potholes. And this year is going to be a tough one because the frost is so deep in the ground, and
Yeah.
you can expect to have a lot of potholes, but we'll have everybody out there on hand filling them just as soon as we can, as soon as the snow stops.
Right.
Because it has to be safe for our employees to be out there too, filling the potholes, so they don't get ran into.
Right,
You gotta-
right.
Safety's first.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, I'm glad you're on the job. Sounds like you're really on top of everything. Besides being a native, I know you care about the city, so we're excited that you covered those 900 miles of roads out there.
Thank you.
Yeah, is there anything else you want to tell the people about?
We're driveways is a big call this year, big concern. Everybody's driveways getting plowed in. Mine is too.
Yeah.
The snow has to go somewhere. We had 50+ inches of snow this year, so it just makes it tough, and it's going to go somewhere, and then unfortunately it's going to go on our driveways. So
There you go.
my
There you-
apologies for that, but there's really nothing we can do. I feel for everyone.
Well, there you go. Well, we appreciate you. I'm so glad that you're back and you're taking care of our roads for us. So, Tony, thank you for taking the time out of what must be a very busy schedule for you, especially this year. We all want you and your crews to stay safe while you tackle the challenges associated with an unusually snowy winter. Be encouraged.
Thank you.
Please be patient and courteous with snow removal crews and office staff who are striving to maintain the roads during snow and ice events. Give snowplows ample room. The city has full-time crews dedicated to patching potholes when the department is not facing emergency situations such as snow emergency, rising water, etc. Potholes are repaired as soon as crews are aware of their existence. To report a pothole, please click on the pothole action icon on the City Street Department website or call the Street Department at 291-4267. During a snow emergency, residents are expected to move their cars off streets to allow snow removal. The 48-hour parking ordinance will be enforced. So don't go away. We'll be right back.
Discover your past, present, and future at the Grant Museum District. Explore and play at the Bluedorn Science Imaginarium. This interactive science center provides fun, hands-on exhibits and live science demonstrations. Visitors can explore more than 90 different exhibits and marvel at the aquariums and enclosures that are home to a variety of amphibians, fish, reptiles, snakes, and arachnids. Enjoy both permanent and temporary exhibits at the Grant Museum of History and Science. Take in a planetarium show and learn all about the history of the Cedar Valley. Marvel at the Victorian elegance of the Snowden House and the Rensselaer Russell House Museum. Visit the Sullivan Brothers Iowa Veterans Museum and take in its traditional and interactive displays. Veteran stories are told throughout the museum's mini theaters, interactive maps, dog tag stations, and more. Visit gmdistrict.org for details, hours, and rates.
Looking for something to do? For entertainment, shopping, eating, and more, go to experiencewaterloo.com for complete listings of so many exciting activities, places, and venues. Well, that's our show. We welcome your suggestions and feedback. Remember to tell others that these episodes are available for viewing from the City of Waterloo website, cityofwaterlooiowa.com, and search for Heart for the City. On behalf of Mayor Hart, please join us next time, and thanks for watching Heart for the City. Until then, I think you will agree, it's a great day to be in Waterloo.